What's going on, everybody? Mr. Thrasha here, and I'm at the Medieval Torture Museum on Hollywood Boulevard, and we're gonna go in. That's what we're doing today, obviously, right? You read the name of the video. Let's go in. I've never been here. Let's check it out. Let's do it. We enter. Oh, this is gonna be cool. Look at this. Wow. Are those not real flames? Those look real. It's not. We're gonna be in here for a while, so sit tight, grab a beverage. We're going through the Medieval Torture Museum. I hear it's pretty interactive. It's gonna be pretty cool. Been wanting to do this for some time, so we'll not rush this experience. This is gonna be awesome. We're going to see real torture devices. Wow, there's going to be some really awesome props and stuff in here. I've only stepped into the first room, I'm already like, wow. Metal for drunkenness. Another way to combat alcoholism was introduced by the Russian Tsar, Peter the Great. Barkeeps and tavern owners were forbidden to serve anyone wearing this medal. That's interesting. Johnny did not know that. This is pretty cool. Look at this. A witch being hung. Look at this guillotine. I wonder how sharp that is. That's pretty freaky. Size of that sword. Look at this thing. Wow. Bloody eagle. It's grotesque. The Nuremberg Virgin. The Iron Maiden. Regarding item, this tool was invented by executioners of the Inquisition to torture apostates. This is it right here. This is the Iron Maiden. Squished between two beds of nails. That is brutal. You know what you call this thing? Press crushing execution. Press crush execution. Great name for a death metal song. Execution by pressing has been known since ancient times. Since the ancient times. The convict is placed between the two heavy loads or beneath a heavy load. The victim is crushed by extreme force. Often the press are additionally equipped with sharp spikes, nails, or hooks for greater damage. Whew. Many modifications have been made over time, but okay, that's brutal. Spanish boot. Oh man. Imagine getting kicked with that in your private area. Whew, the Spanish boot? Used for torture and interrogation in Europe during the late Middle Ages. This boot had screws that would be tightened to break the bones of the feet one by one. Oh man! It was popular among both French and British inquisitors. Wow. No shortage. Deadly awesomeness in here. Look at this. Meat hook sodomy. My God. Pulling the tongue. It's definite medieval torture. Stand of forceps. Imagine someone using this to pull your tongue out. Give me your tongue, sir. Give me the tongue! I'm loving all these skulls. No shortage of skulls here. Look at this. This thing. Yeah, you're actually allowed to touch everything, which is really cool. It's very immersive. We're gonna get immersing ourselves. Wow, look at this thing. Wow, this thing actually turns. Anti-masturbation ring used in the late 19th century, early 20th centuries by piously moral parents to prevent teenagers from sexual self-satisfaction. That is sick. This is the iron pear, invented in the 16th century by French robber Gaucher. Designed to be inserted into an orifice, and then open once deeply inside. It would then tear the anus or vagina. God dang. Alright. Well, that's not cool. The phallus is actually used by inquisitors and jailers in medieval Europe and Asia, used to violently penetrate the vagina. It would cause tearing, internal bleeding, and rupturing of internal organs. God damn. This one's kind of sanded in the shape of a penis. Check this out. Man, that is awesome stuff right there. Look at that skeleton. Wow, I feel like I'm in an autopsy video. Violin of Gossipers. This is made of wood. In medieval Europe, people were forced to wear this device as punishment for gossip and slander. Ha! Take that, you gossipers. Named for its similarity to the famous musical string instrument, the violin. Punishment was carried out in public. Anyone wearing the violin attracted the attention and ridicule from people passing by. Guess you won't go spreading gossip anymore, will ya? Pretty cool, because this is one of the few museums in Hollywood that's open till really late at night. Oh my. Burning of the eyes. Cruel torture was used by the wild tribes of the Dark Ages. It was adopted by military concentration camps in the 20th century. Standing in the middle of a horror film here. Table of tortured sticklers. That's right, that's what you get for being a stickler. You shouldn't stickle. Okay? You shouldn't stickle. Branding with a heated iron. We all know what branding is, but imagine being branded with one of these. Actually pick these up. Masks devised for public ridicule. They would label the wearer of such human vices as gossiping, eavesdropping, gluttony, or debauchery. They didn't tolerate shit back in the day. Bridle of gossipers, one of the most commonly used masks of shame in the Middle Ages. Initially used to calm down angry and scandalous men and women accused of being gossips. It didn't take lightly to gossip in medieval times. Look at this. That one's creepy. Sounds like a pig. God, look at this. This is so cool. Torture by snakes. Oh God. Most ancient descriptions of this torture were found in ancient Indian legends in the Old Testament. The man was left in a tight space with hungry and angry snakes, whose bites provoked terrible agony, and then death. Execution by the snakes was widespread. Oh my God. Oh man. That sucks. Wow. Torture by insects. Look at this guy here. That's a pretty good prop. Look at that. That is awesome right there. Look at that. Torture by insects. That's brutal. Look how sharp this axe is here. Wow, that's an actual axe. That's cool. There's the iron horses. These are made of wood here. Wow, this one's got spikes. Spanish horse used during the 14th to 18th centuries in Europe and Japan. Tortured women who were accused by hearsay of witchcraft. Didn't take kindly to the witchcraft back then. Interrogate prisoners just like this by putting your head in a vice. Head and hands in a vice. Damn. Look at that. Crushing this guy's head with this iron vice. Wow. That's violent. It dunked the witch upside down in a barrel. Popular in medieval Europe and America during the colonization as a method of conducting an investigation on the person suspected of witchcraft. As I said, not take kindly to witchcraft. The person was dunked into the water, and if they drowned, then they were posthumously declared innocent. But if they survived, they were burned at the stake for serving the devil, as they were in fact witches. Look at this guy over here. The rest of that contraption that you would dunk the witch into the barrel with. Man, that's awesome. Ooh, cervical traps. Used all over the world since the ancient times for holding and escorting especially dangerous criminals. Man. Put some very violent thoughts into your head. This thing. The stocks. They've been used for thousands of years to immobilize and deter rebels, deserters, and those sentenced to public ridicule. It was usually the lower class. It was widely used in Europe during the Middle Ages and in America during colonization. And I love these old depictions here. Look at that sword. indical executioner. Look at that severed head in the basket here. Man, I love these props. Oh my god. Oh my god. Get the actual beheading right here. Pretty awesome. And then head in the basket. Head in the basket. Pretty cool, man. Love this, the old school executioner in the sign of evil. The guillotine. We don't have to explain what a guillotine is, do we? This guy getting burned here, the gridiron type of torture device is usually described as an ordinary metal grill, 6 feet long and 2.5 feet wide. It's mounted horizontally on its legs in order to be able to make a fire underneath. Oh wow. So they can burn you from underneath. Look at this. Man, you gotta admire this prop work. Get my shadow out of the way. Wow, that is cool. Braking on the wheel. The wheel was once popular in ancient times and in the Middle Ages as a form of death penalty. The wheel was used in ancient Rome. During the Middle Ages, it was widespread throughout Europe. In Germany and in France, it was considered one of the most painful and shameful executions. The wheel. God, how brutal. This is a garrote. First appearing in Spain during the 18th century, the garrote was used as an alternative to the gallows. It's first simply a stick through a loop in a strap or rope, and when twisted would result in strangulation. The garrote. Let's see how it would be used right there. I have a cousin named Garrett. Dark in here. Oh my God. This guy's in the cradle of Judah. The intention of this instrument, attributed to the Italian executions. It appeared in the late 15th century and was used to torture heretics and potential sorcerers for several centuries. Initially, the cradle of Judah was considered humane and was primarily used to prevent the victim from falling asleep. No falling asleep during torture. It's crazy. Really cool setup in here. Very creepy. door bordered by these skulls. Very cool. Man, let's take a look at the prop work here. Absolutely deadly. So cool. This device, similar in the design to the violin of Gospers, was used in the Middle Ages to punish musicians for a bad performance. What? Special holes for gripping the fingers make the tool look like a flute. To punish musicians? Huh. Well, that's pretty metal. Execution by beheading has been used as a form of capital punishment for millennia. In some cultures, such as ancient Rome and Greece, decapitation was regarded as the most honorable form of death. That's right. A beheading of a man. Look how sharp that is. God, look at this guy. Let's go right on him. Oh yeah, I've heard about this. Death by rat. Wow. Rat torture is the use of rats to torture a victim. Trap a hungry rat. He'll think he's trapped, he'll eat his way out, even if that means eating through your chest. The pendulum. This instrument became popular due to the story of Edgar Poe, The Pit and the Pendulum. 1842, although the writer claimed that the pendulum was used during the Spanish Inquisition to torture prisoners. But there's no historical evidence for this. That's the pendulum right there. It's pretty wicked. Those long, sharp wooden sticks used to impale victims right through the chest. Impaling. Grotesque impalement. One of the most brutal and common executions for spies and prisoners of war, and originated in the Dark Ages, the 15th century. Oh man, look at this. Oh. Grotesque impalement. Got an iron bolt right through his tongue. Piercing the tongue was used throughout the world during the Middle Ages. Perhaps this torture was inspired by the inauspicious custom of the Aborigines. Yeah. They pierced their tongue in order to release evil spirits from it. Really, it just hurt like hell for the guy getting his tongue pierced. There's really not much more to it than that, I don't think. This is pretty cool. Wooden hammer. The torture throne. Armchair of inquiries. Look at that. That's the chair of inquiries. And the chair of inquiries was used to interrogate criminals and heretics during the Inquisition from the Middle Ages through the middle of the 19th century. To make the torture more intense, a fire was started under the seat. In 20th century, versions of this torture device were used in concentration camps during World War II. Oh, man. It's piercing my buttocks. Oh. Okay, that hurts. Yeah. Okay. Glad I was not brought up in these times. Chair of inquiries. Not for me. Not for me. I don't like my behind pierced. Victim of flagellation. Whipping with various items like thin rods or sticks was used from ancient times to the present. This punishment was practiced not only in prisons and hard labor camps, but also in monasteries, educational institutions, and even private households. 10 to 20 lashes would inflict severe pain and leave scars. People have been even whipped to death. I would think so. Look at that thing. God dang. Imagine being whipped to death. That. Imprisonment in the cage. Imprisonment. This punishment is mentioned in the Japanese legend of the Edo period, 17th century, in which a beautiful woman was disfigured by a jealous husband. It became widely known because of Victor Hugo's book, The Man Who Laughs, from 1869. In the 20th century, it was used by gang sisters in the city of Glasgow. Whoa, the Glasgow smile. How'd you like a smile ripped into your mouth like that? Ripped into your cheeks. Look at this giant iron bull. Oh wow. They probably place you within this iron bull and then set fire to the bottom. Well, place a fire beneath it. So you slowly are like cooked as if you're in an oven. Wow. Order of the Sicilian tyrant Phalaris in the second half of the 6th century. Before Christ, it was said that Phalaris himself ended up roasted in the bull by rebels. They roasted him. Spectacular form of death penalty would gain popularity in ancient Rome and Eastern Europe. I don't want to be cooked to death in no iron bull. The cord. This is interesting. The cord, the rack, or lifting bar, is first mentioned in the year 1229. Wow. Victim's hands would be fastened with the rope behind his back. They were then lifted by the rope. Sometimes additional weight would be tied to their feet. You can like really torture somebody with rope. I mean, this is like, it's almost painful just to touch. So imagine being strangled or, you know, tying this around somebody. Whew. The rope burns. Oh, check this out. You can actually touch it, which is crazy. No one ever get hurt in here? Placed in the rack is what I mentioned earlier. The rack. A strappado bed, sorry. The use of this device is mentioned during the reigns of Alexander the Great and Emperor Nero. It reached its highest popularity in England and France in the 15th century through the 17th century. It was primarily used for the interrogation of heretics and traitors. According to one source, the English traitor Guy Fawkes was interrogated on the strappado before execution. Placed in the rack. It's wild. Scalding of the heels. Wow. Scalding of the heels. God damn. Severely burning of the heels and feet. Boiling water or oil was used. Practice in the medieval world to force a person to confess. This museum's really something else. Even in the washroom, they have medieval torture devices. It's a guillotine. You know, so they can cut off your head while you're taking a shit. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining me today at the Medieval Torture Museum. Please like, please subscribe. And if you're new here, subscribe and let you know when a new episode goes up. Never know what you may be missing here on the Mr. Thrasha Show. We'll see y'all next time. Bye. Oh God. Oh God. And exit through the gift shop. Yeah. Yeah. Torture Museum, they got shirts, carry bags, books, these little skulls and stuff. Alright. Alright. Look at all this stuff. Got some really cool mugs and stuff. These are deadly. Medieval Torture Museum. They're pretty heavy too. Okay. Thanks again for coming along, everybody. This was a lot of fun. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. They put that sticker on your chest when you enter the museum. And I was given this too. If you give a review, you get one of these gold coins. That's pretty neat. Little souvenir.